It is no secret I am a fan of the RPG genre. I just love getting lost in the worlds and stories that are created. So whenever I saw the first trailer 2 years ago for this particular game, something about it stuck with me, and I couldn't wait for the time I could get my hands on it. Thankfully that time has come. Here's my review of Shiness: The Lightning Kingdom. Shiness follows the story of Shadow, a walkie who is on a journey across the fragmented world of Mahara, and who is trying to reach the fabled lands of life. Shadow is guided by a Shiness named Terra, who only reveals itself to him. Terra is the Earth Shiness, and there is a separate Shiness for each of the elements. These Shiness are rumored to only show themselves to select individuals in desperate times of need. After crashing their airship during a terrible storm, Shadow and his best friend Pokey quickly find themselves separated in the middle of conflict between multiple kingdoms. They are quickly reunited and learn that Rosalia, the princess of Adora, is on the run from her kingdom to the lands of life because she thinks she's possessed by a dark spirit. Her escape was aided by Cayenne, a powerful Shulk that will give his life to ensure Rosalia's safety. Each of these characters have their own quirks, personalities, and backstories that I fell in love with as the game progressed. While they're your typical personalities you see in almost all RPGs, they fit the characters very well, and they just felt natural. On top of the characters having their own quirky personalities, they each have a different skill used for solving various puzzles spread throughout the game. Whether that be spawning a heavy rock to hold down buttons, or using telekinesis to move objects around. Utilizing all the different abilities is crucial to solving the different puzzles. Puzzles may be used to uncover secret areas, or to progress through the story. I personally didn't find the puzzles too challenging, however I did manage to solve some of them through dumb luck rather than figuring them out myself. Now, elements are a big theme when it comes to Shiness, and even though each character can learn spells from all the different elements, they're really only efficient in one specific element. This is okay though, because the spells across the elements didn't seem to vary much. I say this is okay because all too often in RPGs, there's always at least one character that feels too weak to even consider using them. I found this not to be the case in Shiness. Each element had its own heal, varying projectiles, and an AoE spell. The different elements really only come into play with the theme of the story and encountering enemies that have weaknesses or are even immune to the varying elements, allowing each character their time to shine depending on what you're fighting. The combat is what originally got me hyped up for Shiness, and let me tell you, it does not disappoint. The combat plays much like an arena fighter, allowing those in battle to utilize range attacks and melee combos to take out their opponent's life bars. Executing the various combos came with relative ease. While they have different effects, the button sequences are the same across all characters, which makes it easy to remember these combos when switching between them. A balanced utilization of range and melee attacks is crucial to ensure success in battles. As with most fighting games, each character has an ultimate combo, a resource-heavy attack that inflicts massive damage. These combos require a more elaborate button sequence, but if pulled off successfully will trigger an extremely anime cutscene mid-battle. However, I didn't find myself going for these all that often. While they were cool to watch, they were easily interrupted, and the resources needed to perform them were better off spent executing smaller combos or parrying enemy attacks. Just like with any fighting game, managing your resources is the key to victory. When exploring the world of Mahara, only 3 of the characters can be active at a time to help solve puzzles and participate in combat. Thankfully, it is very easy to swap an active character out for an inactive one by being able to do so on the fly, instead of having to be in a specific location or town or something like that. However, once in combat, the 3 characters active are locked in and can only be swapped between themselves in battle. Characters can also be set up with support abilities to either help buff or cure elements for the character that's in the battle. These are pretty much essential to survive some of the boss fights. Pacing seems to be the biggest misstep a lot of RPGs make, but thankfully Shiness was finally tuned not to feel like a grind at all. I never caught myself saying, wow, I've been in this area for a long time, or man, this level's taking forever. Everything just keeps moving forward and never gets stale or slows down. The only complaint I've heard is that the tutorial takes a bit too long, and that may be a fair complaint. I for one was grateful for it because without it explaining some of the mechanics, I would have gotten my ass bopped more times than I could count. All in all, I could ramble on for hours about my time with Shiness, but I feel I better not for spoilers' sake. If you're a fan of RPGs and fighting games, then this game will definitely be right up your alley. It may be a bit of rough around the edges, but for the first game from Anagami, they took on a hell of a task and brought forth a damn fine product. That's why I give Shiness: The Lightning Kingdom 4 Pokies out of 5. For more reviews on video games and hardware alike, as well as first looks, editorials, and build guides, be sure to head on over to KBMOD.com.